Ladies and gentlemen, the president of Stony Brook University, Dr. Samuel L. Stanley, Jr.
Thank you so much. Is that a great video? I mean, just fantastic. Elaine Crossan and her team, along with who's our Vice President for External Relations, along with Matt Whalen, Associate Vice Provost for Admissions, took care of that, and I think they did a wonderful job. This is going to be one of our major recruiting tools for students as we come forward. So thank you so much for coming today. It's really a pleasure for me to welcome you. I wanted to acknowledge a few people in the crowd. We have a great turnout. I want to acknowledge a few folks who are here. First of all, Assemblyman Steve Engelbright. Steve. Assemblyman Mike Fitzpatrick. Mike. Kevin Law, Chair of the Stony Brook Council. Kevin, where are you? There he is. Kevin is also Director of the Long Island Association and a good friend. Who else? Our alumni president, Sherry Sussman. Sherry, where are you? So 3 years ago, I stood before the Stony Brook community, students, faculty, staff, alumni, and our many friends, and I delivered my inaugural address as the 5th president of this great university. It was a long speech, a very long speech. It was, but I had a lot to say. I wanted to express my excitement about Stony Brook University, the extraordinary accomplishments of those who built this great institution, how far we had come, and how much further we could go. I wanted to remind everyone how vital Stony Brook was to Long Island, to SUNY, to the great state of New York, and to the world. And 3 years ago, in the teeth of one of the worst financial crises in New York State's history, I talked about my vision for Stony Brook, and particularly the need to invest in our faculty. I was channeling the great late John Toll, who knew that the faculty, human capital, was the key to building a great university. I argued that we must reinvest in the faculty if Stony Brook were to continue its extraordinary trajectory. In fact, we were at a crossroads. Enrollment had grown without any increase in the faculty. The result, bigger classes, and more importantly, fewer sections, making it difficult for students to get the classes they needed to graduate on time. Unchecked, this would be an obstacle towards student success, and ultimately, a path towards mediocrity. But how would we grow our faculty during a fiscal crisis? To do this, we would need a new revenue plan for SUNY, a rational tuition program with predictable, modest increases, including a recognition of the higher costs associated with education at a research university, and an end to budget cuts. Achieving this change became my highest priority for Stony Brook University, and with leadership from the chancellor and the support of many elected officials and friends, we worked to get legislation passed that would make this a reality. Our first attempt, the SUNY Flex legislation, failed. In the next fiscal year, we had the Public Higher Education Empowerment and Innovation Act, FIA, which came so very close, but ultimately died in the legislature. Well, as you all know, the third time was the charm. With Governor Andrew Cuomo as our champion, New York SUNY 2020, groundbreaking legislation that contained all the elements we needed: rational tuition increases, an academic excellence fee for the university centers, and a maintenance of effort clause to combat future budget cuts, was passed and signed into law. On December 14th, 2011, Governor Cuomo and Chancellor Zimfer came to Stony Brook to accept our New York SUNY 2020 plan, which allowed us to charge the academic excellence fee and receive $35 million in capital for our new medical and research translation building. With SUNY 2020 in place, we have the opportunity to hire 250 new faculty over the next 5 years. We've started already. So how appropriate that this occasion is about greeting our new faculty. New faculty, please rise so we can welcome you all to Stony Brook. I want to tell you I believe you are the best and brightest, and you join an outstanding faculty that is the best in SUNY and one of the best in the country. You are the first of a new wave of faculty at Stony Brook, and you and your colleagues will help take us to the next level. I hope you're as excited about the journey as I am, and again, welcome. 3 years ago, I spoke not just about the need to hire faculty, but how that process should occur. We must be strategic. We must build on existing areas of excellence. We must identify programs that distinguish us from our peers. And we must find a way to support interdisciplinary scholarship and collaboration across the campuses. What better way to do that than to engage the faculty in that process? That is why I'm so glad that Provost Asanas, with my wholehearted support, launched a competition where faculty submitted proposals for some of our new cluster hires. The response was tremendous, maybe even overwhelming, with a tidal wave of more than 100 proposals initially submitted. But as you can see, Provost Asanas handled it in style. A committee of distinguished SUNY professors and National Academy members has reviewed the first set of proposals, and Provost Asanas will announce the 5 proposals recommended for immediate funding soon. I have reviewed them, and they are outstanding, and I can't wait to see them implemented. I want to say one more thing about our faculty before I turn to our amazing students. I said before that we have the most distinguished faculty in SUNY and one of the most distinguished faculties in the world. This past year, we recruited 2 members of the National Academy of Engineering, Dennis Asanas and Esther Takeuchi, to Stony Brook. And one of the world's leading virologists, Eckhard Wimmer, was elected to the National Academy of Sciences. Dennis Choi, a member of the prestigious Institute of Medicine, joined our faculty. Ben Shao, Lorna Roll, Peter Stevens, and George Sturman were elected to the American Association for the Advancement of Science. And Jeff Siegel was elected to the American Academy of Arts and Sciences. Ken Dill, Eugene Feinberg, and Sanjay Sampath were elected SUNY Distinguished Professors. This is part of a tradition of faculty excellence that includes 3 Nobel laureates and an Abel Prize winner. It's a small thing, but I want to do something to honor the faculty who have done so much and brought such renown to the university. We will create a faculty wall of honor in the Melville Library that acknowledges our Nobel laureates, our Abel Prize winner, all of our National Academy members, our AAAS and IOM members, and our SUNY Distinguished Professors. I hope this will serve as an inspiration to all of us and remind everyone of what a special place Stony Brook University is. Thank you. 3 years ago, I spoke about our students and how unique they are. We just admitted our best class ever in terms of GPA and SAT scores. And I've had the privilege of saying that every year for the past 3 years, and I hope I can say it again next year. The competition to get into Stony Brook University is intense, and we are the 6th most selective school among public universities in the AAU. Only Berkeley, UCLA, UNC Chapel Hill, University of Virginia, and University of San Diego are more selective than Stony Brook University. That is very good company. But what sets us apart from almost all of our AAU peers is our commitment to economically disadvantaged students. Only one school among the 61 AAU members has a higher proportion of Pell Grant eligible students than Stony Brook University. Many are the first in their generation to go to college, and many are the children of recent immigrants or new arrivals to the United States themselves. And they have amazing stories. 3 years ago, at the time of my inauguration, I did not know the personal stories of our students and the incredible obstacles many have overcome to get to Stony Brook and to graduate. But since then, I have learned some of their stories, and they are inspiring. Students like Chatea McCrae, one of our EOP students who was raised by her grandmother and was the first in her family to attend college. She was not admitted to EOP at first, but continued to apply until a space was open. She graduated from Stony Brook in May 2010 with honors and a 3.7 GPA, and continued on to receive her Master of Social Work degree here at Stony Brook in spring 2011. Students like Charles Rico from Woodside, Queens, who was also the first in his family to attend college. He was part of a close-knit group of 11 friends growing up, but as they progressed through high school, many lost their way to gang activity, crime, and drugs. and only Charles and one other friend chose to pursue higher education. Charles became an outstanding campus leader, involved in multiple service organizations, and I crowned him homecoming king in 2010. And he graduated with a bachelor's degree in biology in May of 2011. Or Stephen Healy, a New York City Fire Department lieutenant who was badly injured in the fall of the first tower at the World Trade Centers on September 11th. After retiring from the fire department and prolonged recovery, Stephen Healy decided to commit himself to furthering his education. He enrolled first at Suffolk Community College, then transferred to Stony Brook. He graduated in December 2010 with a BA in economics. Or Kadeem Hilton, one of our EOP students, the first in his family also to pursue a degree, who became a campus leader and interned with Assemblyman Carl Hastie, a Stony Brook alum, and graduated in December 2011 to pursue a career in education. These are only 4 of the many stories that I have heard. And I must say that these students and so many others inspire me every day. And when it was time for Stony Brook University to submit its New York SUNY 2020 plan, it was those students and their stories that made us take the extra step to preserve access to Stony Brook. We chose to met the dollar gap between the increased tuition and New York State's TAP program for all students with family incomes under $70,000 per year. No other SUNY school is doing that, but it is the right thing to do, and we're proud to do it. During my inauguration speech, I spoke only briefly about philanthropy and how important it would be for Stony Brook University. What I suspected then, and I know now, is that we will not achieve our goals of being one of the best public universities in the world without philanthropic support. In some sense, it represents a margin for excellence. We can do a good job with state support, but we will not be great without the support of our friends and alumni. Over the past 3 years, I've put fundraising front and center at Stony Brook. Thanks to the remarkable gift from Jim and Marilyn Simons and the Simons Foundation, we are now investing in excellence across both campuses. The match component of the gift has inspired giving to Stony Brook across Long Island and the country, and we are reaping the benefits. Since my arrival at Stony Brook University, we have booked 36 gifts of $1 million or more and secured nearly $235 million total in gifts. Many of these funds will be used to help us recruit and retain the best faculty by creating endowed professorships and startup packages that allow us to compete with the best universities in the world. I'm proud to say that we have already more than doubled the number of endowed professorships at the university and tripled the number of endowed professorships in the humanities and arts. And we continue to push for funds to support graduate education and undergraduate scholarships so we can recruit and support the best students in the land. Frankly, I'm humbled and honored that so many individuals believe in our vision and believe that Stony Brook University is worth supporting. We have much more work to do, a match to complete, and many important areas to support. But I'm very confident that we can do it, and I want to acknowledge Dexter Bailey, our Vice President for Advancement, who's brought a new level of professionalism and success to our fundraising efforts. Dexter, thanks to you and your team. I also want to thank all the senior leadership of the university and our faculty who have worked hard to help obtain the funds to help us achieve our goals. Three years ago, we were dealing with what would become more than $90 million in budget cuts to Stony Brook University. I realized that if we were to preserve the academic heart of our university, we would have to become more efficient and effective on the administrative side. We could not afford duplication of administrative or academic effort, ineffective procurement, stultifying hiring practices, or wasteful spending. Our staff were hardworking, and we were lean compared to our peers, but we were not always efficient and not always cost-effective. I used a gift from the Stony Brook Foundation to initiate Project 50 Forward, our effort to re-engineer Stony Brook administrative side for excellence. I'm pleased to say that under the leadership of Senior Vice President Barbara Chernow, we continue to make great progress in this area. This has been an inclusive process with input from faculty, staff, students, and the senior leadership team. To date, we have achieved savings of nearly $13 million annually, and these are monies that find their way back into student support and our academic mission. I want to particularly thank those staff members who have embraced this process and helped us achieve these remarkable cost savings while preserving the effectiveness of our support services. Many thanks to each and every one of you. I do want to emphasize that there is much more to do. And if we are to realize the benefits of our increased revenue from New York SUNY 2020 and our new levels of philanthropic support, we must continue to find ways to do things smarter, cheaper, and better. Simply put, Project 50 Forward is critical for our future success. I want to make 3 more quick points before concluding. During my inauguration, I talked about Stony Brook as a global institution. This summer, I saw that reality firsthand. I traveled to Madagascar, where I joined Stony Brook University professor and MacArthur Genius Award winner Pat Wright as we opened Centro Val Bio in Madagascar. Built with gifts to the Stony Brook Foundation, this amazing building will be a center for education and research at the Ranamafana Preserve, where Pat continues her groundbreaking studies on lemurs and biodiversity. I traveled to Majunga, also in Madagascar, where Professor David Krause discovered the fossil remains of Majungasaurus, what we affectionately refer to as stony bones. And then traveled to Kenya, where I joined Stony Brook's professors Richard Meave and Louise Leakey and Lawrence Martin, and toured both of their sites on Lake Turkana, arguably the best fossil sites for human and non-human primate evolution in the world. The research at each of those sites is world-class, and the opportunities for undergraduate, graduate, and professional students, amazing. But as impressed as I was with the research, I was equally proud of the difference that each of the research sites is making to their local communities and to their host countries. David Krause Ankisi Fund has already built 5 schools in Madagascar, and in collaboration with our School of Dental Medicine, is providing children and adults in many villages with outstanding dental care. Pat Wright led the effort to create the preserve, saving thousands of acres of rainforest, and is one of the most unique ecosystems in the world. She and her colleagues are also beginning efforts to look at health issues in the surrounding communities, focusing particularly on clean water and the prevention of diarrheal illnesses. And the Turkana sites are working to help surrounding communities get fresh water, improve maternal health, develop new sources of energy such as biogas, and create new industries such as fish farming. I've just scratched the surface of what our faculty and students do in these areas and many other countries around the world. And speaking of a global university, this spring we had the official opening of SUNY Korea, our new campus in Songdo near Seoul. This is an amazing venture. We are the first and only U.S. university that has been approved by the South Korean Ministry of Education, Science and Technology to offer degrees in South Korea. The facilities, as you can see, are incredible, the student quality is high, and we're committed to doing this right. We want those students to get a Stony Brook quality education and truly earn a Stony Brook University degree. When I delivered my inaugural address, I spoke only briefly about athletics. I did give a shout out to Wolfie, stating there would always be a line item in my budget for Wolfie. And that was very smart because Wolfie is more popular than ever. But I really could not have predicted the impact our athletics program has had over the past 3 years. Name recognition is so important for us, for student and faculty recruitment, for our ability to appeal to donors and to our alumni. I don't have time to chronicle all of the accomplishments of athletics this year. There are just too many successes, and they encompass so many of our sports. But as epitomized by the team that shocked the world, our baseball team, I think it is fair to say that Stony Brook University has made, I think it's fair to say that Stony Brook University has made a name for itself as a great university that also has some pretty amazing athletes, some very impressive coaches, and a great athletic director in Jim Fiore. I can't put a dollar value on the publicity we've received, but I know firsthand from talking with students, faculty, alumni, donors, members of our community, and people who just hear that I have something to do with Stony Brook University, that athletics has really helped engage people with this great institution. Finally, one measure of any institution's health is the number of cranes on the campus. It's absolutely true. Thanks in large measure to the steadfast support of our elected officials, most notably Senators Ken LaValle and John Flanagan, Assemblyman Steve Engelbright, Assemblyman Mike Fitzpatrick, and others, there is exciting new construction happening on campus. Next month, we will open the new Recreation Center, a state-of-the-art facility that will make a tremendous difference in the quality of life for each and every student at Stony Brook University. I can't wait. Earlier this summer, we broke ground for a new marine sciences laboratory at our Southampton campus, a fantastic new facility that will help propel our outstanding School of Marine and Atmospheric Sciences to even greater heights. Soon we will break ground for a new computer science building, and before you know it, the new classrooms at the old chemistry building will be online. On February 1st, we are opening our new Hilton Gardens Inn at Stony Brook. This will be transformative in our ability to host conferences on the campus. Across Nichols Road, under the leadership of Ken Kashansky, design is progressing for the new Medical and Research Translation building and new hospital tower that will incorporate Stony Brook Children's Hospitals. These will be new signature buildings for a campus that is long overdue for an upgrade. This is just a sampling of what we are doing. Our new capital plan provides for far more, and we are hopeful, with the strong support of SUNY and the state, we can continue to add to, renovate, and improve this great campus. So 3 years later, I'm proud to say that I believe Stony Brook University is on the move, and we're moving in the right direction. The recent U.S. News and World Report rankings placed us in the top 100 universities and among the top 40 public universities in the United States. It's the highest ranking we've ever achieved. And I have to say, while I'm always a little skeptical of these rankings, I hope they reflect real progress that we've made. To the extent that any of that progress can be traced to my administration, I want to acknowledge what I believe is an outstanding team. My 3 senior vice presidents, Ken Kashansky, Senior Vice President for the Health Sciences and Dean of the School of Medicine, Dennis Asanas, Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, and Barbara Chernow, Senior Vice President for Administration. Please join me, and thank you. Time will not permit me to name all of the other great members of our team, the other vice presidents, our superb deans, but I did want to welcome our new hospital CEO, Reuven Pasternak. Reuven, stand up, if you don't mind. He's going to lead an enterprise that is absolutely vital to our university and to our region. Our newly appointed Vice President for Finance and Senior Budget Officer, Lyle Gomes. Lyle? Lynn Johnson, newly appointed as Vice President for Human Resources. Lynn? And our new Vice President for Research, Ben Shao. Welcome to each and every one of you, and thank you for your commitment to Stony Brook. That message of welcome brings me full circle. I want to conclude my State of the University address by again welcoming our new faculty to Stony Brook University and inviting all of you now to a reception at the Wong Center. Thank you all so much.